Ever wondered how mighty empires truly fall? Welcome to Class Bites. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and often surprising transformation of the Roman military that played a key role in the Western Roman Empire's decline. The story of a great empire's end is never one of a single fatal blow, but rather a slow, grinding dissolution, a crumbling of foundations that once seemed eternal. The Western Roman Empire did not fall in a day. It was a process spanning generations, driven by a confluence of internal weaknesses and external pressures that ultimately overwhelmed its capacity to endure. At the heart of its troubles was a profound transformation of its legendary military machine. The late Roman army, once the symbol of civic duty, grew increasingly reliant on non-Roman recruits. This was more than simple enlistment. It was a deep cultural shift, an integration of Germanic customs, equipment, and leadership into the very fabric of the legions. The short Roman gladius was often replaced by the longer spatha, and new helmet designs appeared, reflecting the fighting styles of the peoples Rome now hired to defend its borders. This reliance created a new class of powerful military leaders of barbarian origin, men who rose to the highest ranks and wielded immense political influence. These generals often commanded armies whose loyalty was to them personally, not to the distant emperor or the abstract idea of the state. This created a constant threat of internal power struggles, as the very defenders of the empire could become its greatest destabilizers. The army itself had changed its posture from one of aggressive expansion to a strategy of defense in depth. Border troops, often part-time soldiers and farmers, formed a first line of defense, while mobile field armies were held in reserve to respond to breaches. Yet contemporary historians lamented a noticeable decline in the iron discipline and rigorous training that had once made the legions invincible, noting a turn towards the less structured fighting styles of their new recruits. The paper strength of this late army was immense, swelling to perhaps 600,000 men, far larger than the force of roughly 250,000 that had secured the peace of the early empire. But its effectiveness was compromised by internal divisions and shifting loyalties. This vast military apparatus required a river of gold to sustain it, and the empire's economy was buckling under the strain. To meet its colossal expenditures, the state resorted to systematically debasing its own currency, mixing precious metals with cheaper ones. This policy unleashed rampant inflation, which eroded savings, disrupted commerce, and shattered public confidence. At its peak, the annual inflation rate soared to over 20%. Soon after, the city of Rome was sacked by the Visigoths, an event that sent a profound psychological shockwave across the Roman world. The loss of the wealthy provinces of North Africa to the Vandals was an even greater blow, depriving the state of a crucial source of grain and revenue. In the mid-5th century, the devastating invasions of the Huns further destabilized the West, and Rome was sacked a second time, this time by the Vandals sailing from their new African kingdom. The end, when it came late in the 5th century, was almost an anticlimax. The last Western Roman emperor, a young boy, was deposed by a Germanic chieftain who chose not to appoint a successor but to rule the peninsula himself. The collapse of central authority led to the political fragmentation of the West into numerous successor kingdoms. The sophisticated long-distance trade networks disintegrated, replaced by a more localized and agrarian economy. Great Roman infrastructure, like roads and aqueducts, fell into disrepair, and literacy declined sharply. Yet the legacy of Rome endured. In the power vacuum, the Christian Church emerged as a powerful unifying institution, preserving elements of Roman administration and the Latin language, which would evolve into the Romance languages of modern Europe. Roman legal principles were eventually rediscovered and became the foundation for many modern legal systems. The powerful idea of a universal Roman Empire never truly perished, inspiring future rulers for centuries to come. While the fall was a traumatic end to an era, it also cleared the way for a new, more fragmented, and ultimately dynamic Europe to begin its slow and arduous rise from the ruins. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts or what you'd like to see next.